Glad to see you again. Today we will discover the human body. This top is random. Let's start. Number 6. Let's talk about nutrition. Nutrition is the science that interprets the interaction of nutrients and other substances in food in relation to maintenance, growth, reproduction, health and disease of an organism. It includes food intake, absorption, assimilation, biosynthesis, catabolism and excretion. Why we need protein. Proteins are structural materials in much of the animal body. They also form the enzymes that control chemical reactions throughout the body. Each protein molecule is composed of amino acids, which are characterized by inclusion of nitrogen and sometimes sulfur. You're used to seeing bugs in your garden, but how about on your plate? Nutritious, edible insects including grasshoppers, beetles, wasps, worms, cicadas, and caterpillars are paced with vitamins and minerals and are eaten by people around the globe. Number 5. Our brain. The brain is an organ that serves as the center of the nervous system in all vertebrate and most invertebrate animals. Only a few invertebrates such as sponges, jellyfish, adult sea squirts and starfish do not have a brain. Diffuse or localized nerve nets are present instead. The brain does not simply grow, but rather develops in an intricately orchestrated sequence of stages. It changes in shape from a simple swelling at the front of the nerve cord in the earliest embryonic stages, to a complex array of areas and connections. Neurons are created in special zones that contain stem cells, and then migrate through the tissue to reach their ultimate locations. The brain is a very wrinkly organ. If you spread it out, your brain would be about the size of a pillowcase. By the time you are 6 years old, your brain is already 90% of the size it will be when you are an adult. Number 4. Eyes color. Eye color heterochromia is a condition in which people have different color eyes. In anatomy, heterochromia is a difference in coloration, usually of the iris but also of hair or skin. Heterochromia is a result of the relative excess or lack of melanin, a pigment. It may be inherited, or caused by genetic mosaicism, chimerism, disease, or injury. Eye color, specifically the color of the irises, is determined primarily by the concentration and distribution of melanin. Although the processes determining eye color are not fully understood, it is known that inherited eye color is determined by multiple genes. Environmental or acquired factors can alter these inherited traits. How cool is that? Number 3. Let's be a little vampiric and let's talk about blood. Just one drop of blood contains about 10,000 white blood cells and 250,000 platelets. Blood is a bodily fluid in humans and other animals that delivers necessary substances such as nutrients and oxygen to the cells and transports metabolic waste products away from those same cells. When it reaches the lungs, gas exchange occurs when carbon dioxide is diffused out of the blood into the pulmonary alveoli and oxygen is diffused into the blood. This oxygenated blood is pumped to the left-hand side of the heart in the pulmonary vein and enters the left atrium. Blood is circulated around the body through blood vessels by the pumping action of the heart. In animals with lungs, arterial blood carries oxygen from inhaled air to the tissues of the body, and venous blood carries carbon dioxide, a waste product of metabolism produced by cells, from the tissues to the lungs to be exhaled. Number 2. Joints when they're cracked. The cracking sound made by knuckles, necks, backs, and other joints when they're cracked is the sound of bubbles popping in the joint's fluid. Is it harmful? Not terribly. But cracking a joint too often can hurt the cords, called ligaments, that surround the joint. Alongside finally figuring out what's going on inside those noisy joints, the researchers hope that this work will spur further research into the potential harms or benefits of joint cracking, which we are often told gives you arthritis, despite a lack of evidence for this. It may be the case that the ability to crack knuckles could be related to joint health, Korkuk explains, which could have implications for other joints. Number 1. Sweat. I know sounds bad, but listen that. sweat doesn't smell bad. A stinky body odor is caused when the skin bacteria feed on sweat. Their waste products are what smell bad. Perspiration, also known as sweating or diaphoresis, is the production of fluids secreted by the sweat glands in the skin of mammals. In humans, sweating is primarily a means of thermoregulation, which is achieved by the water-rich secretion of the eccrine glands. Maximum sweat rates of an adult can be up to 2 to 4 liters per hour or 10 to 14 liters per day, but is less in children prior to puberty. The most commonly experienced symptom of excessive sweating is body odor. Odor develops due to yeast or bacteria that live naturally on the skin. As the skin becomes moist and mixes with these, odor is released. Another explanation is when the apocrine gland release sweat directly into the tubule of the glands. When placed under stress, these tubules contract and sweat is pushed to the surface of the skin. Bacteria will begin to break down and odor is released.